Yes. But for real, if you're watching this video, you probably care a lot about your results in Smash Ultimate. And if this title is attractive to you, that probably means that your results aren't as good as you expect them to be. Taking a page out of Chess's Eric Rosen's book,
it's actually common, like when you start reaching higher ratings, is your overall level will improve before your rating reflects your level. So it's common to plateau for some amount of time, and then as long as you're persistent, you keep studying, keep analyzing games that you play, especially your losses, then hopefully at some point you'll have like a spike. But really it's just about being persistent, enjoying the process. If you're plateaued for a really long time, you might want to mix things up, experiment with maybe new openings, new playing styles. When you make changes, sometimes you'll actually lose rating, but it will help you. It'll help you in the long run. At short term, you might see a decrease, but it's important to have a growth mindset that you're playing to learn more so than playing to win.
While that's in chess, I think it truly applies to Smash as well, and can be reassuring for a lot of people. In general, for these aspects, I would focus on 3 major points: metrics, efficiency, and perspective. The main metrics in competitive play are set records, rankings, and if you're lucky, ELO. But the more metrics you have, the easier it is to get caught up in them. That's why it's always important to reframe the metrics that you're using. For example, if you go into a math test having 0 confidence but still get a 75, it might feel a lot better than an 80 on a test that you've been studying for a lot and felt really good about. Maybe you've set diet and exercise goals for yourself in the past. If you feel like you cheated on a diet 2 out of 7 days of the week, it definitely feels a lot worse than if you had just had a plan to stick to for 5 days of the week and got 5 of those. It's still the same result, but it's how you frame it that makes all the difference. And that brings us to our next point: time and efficiency. You might be driving yourself crazy over the most minute details that you're trying to fix, when in actuality, a lot of times it's fixing what got you there in the first place that will make much more of a difference. For example, instead of trying to deal with how to get through ledge trapping scenarios, try to focus on how to not get ledge trapped in the first place. Better neutral, better recovery, and then, yes, ultimately, how to get out of the corner. But not being able to get out of being ledge trapped isn't always necessarily an issue with getting ledge trapped as much as it is being in the corner to begin with. Make sure to focus on these things in friendlies as opposed to tournament matches. Now, when going into those friendlies, don't tell your friends what you're trying to focus on. That can really bias what they're trying to punish. For example, I had told one of my friends at one point to cover my neutral getup every single time. What ended up happening was I was getting discouraged because he would hit me trying to jump or roll every time. So in order to make it the most effective practice, do not tell your practice partner what you're trying to do. Feel free to discuss it with them afterwards, but make sure that your practice is as unbiased as possible. And for further unbiased opinions, that shifts us to our next important aspect of perspective. This could mean changing up your practice regimens, your training partners, even which tournaments you go to every week. Playing different people can give you a better perspective on how bad your habits actually are. Your best friend will get you for something much more than somebody who's playing you for the first or second time ever will. That being said, if you play somebody new and they catch on right away, it might be a pretty bad habit that you need to work on. Another thing about friendlies is you need to take this opportunity to make them about learning and not winning. You might have won a lot of games in the past, but that's not what you're trying to achieve here. You're trying to focus on fixing habits. If one of your friends can't help you, try looking into coaching or even money matching top players. These people will be looking out for all of your habits because, well, that's how they beat you. Don't be too discouraged about callouts initially from them. As they're top players, they'll have a lot of option coverage, but if they keep punishing something, that's when you really have to take that into account and look back on it. For example, recently I received coaching from Locus, and where I thought my disadvantage was the issue, he actually informed me that my neutral was what needed work, and that I should work on movement over anything. Since then, my results in tournaments have been astronomically better. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there, even if it costs a little bit of money. Now go out there and apply what you just learned. Remember, you don't suck. You just need to frame things better. That's it from me this time, but let me know what you'd like to hear about next time. And as always, see you in the next video.